Hello everybody and welcome back to one of Vox preset tutorials about Toonly. Today we're going to analyze how we can actually combine Toonly with a very easy graphic image editor in order to create a moving scene. So let's get started. Previous for us to start, I will actually show you what I have already done. So we have a scene here and you can see how the background is moving in the train. In order to do this, we'll need to create those windows to be semi-transparent. So let's start with that and we'll get going. We'll go back to my videos and we'll create a new project. We'll name it Tutorial 1. Of course, you'll be able to create this with other scene as well. So first of all, we'll need to pick up the train. We'll go to backgrounds. We'll search for the train scene somewhere on the bottom. If you don't find it, it's possible that is because you have a standard edition. This is I am using the Enterprise edition, as you can see up here in the corner. However, this can be done with any other scene, not only the train scene. Here it is, train interior. We'll bring this in. Now you'll notice that you'll not be able to add any characters or objects behind those windows. So I just put this one up, and if I'm trying to move it to the background, yes, you have here those buttons forward and backward. It doesn't move anywhere. As a result, we'll delete this one. Hit delete. Once that's done, the first thing we need to do is actually capture this image. Now, the easiest way to do this is to shorten the video to 1 second, export, and we'll change the name of this one. We'll call it moving train 1 because I have the original video there. Save and continue. You will also be able to find all those images already done by me, so you'll be able to use them. You can find them in the description of this video. We'll show this directly in the folder. Now I'm using a Windows computer. As a result, I'll right click on it and I'll open this with Photos. Now once I open it with Photos, you'll be able to see this, but you'll also see the play because you have that effect in and out. That's a problem. So let's go back to our Toonly. Right click, and at the entrance we need to remove this background setting. Save, and we'll export it again. Sorry for that. It's showing folder. So we'll open this one, open with Photos, and from here you click the Edit and Create and Save Photos. Now once you have the save photo, click the Save Photo and you'll pick up a place wherever you want it to be saved for you. Save. We'll close this one. And by going to wherever we saved that one, it's here. I'll right click and I'll use a software called Gimp. Now Gimp, it's an editing software that's very, very easy to use, and it's free. And that's the part that I love the most. And as you know, all the videos that I promote, I try to use only free software. The only software that you actually need to pay for is Toonly itself. You'll be able to download Gimp, and if you don't have it, I'll leave a link into the description for you to download it. It's a free download and I have no affiliation with this product. So once we have this image here, we are going to select the lasso tool. Is this tool up here in the left hand corner? Is the third one on the left. If you'll hold and press the left click of your button, you'll see free select, scissor select, and foreground select. We'll go to free select. Then if you press Ctrl and move your mouse wheel, you'll be able to increase the size of your image. And in order to move the image left and right, you can actually press the scrolling button on your mouse and move it, or if you don't have that, just adjust with the handles that you have here. The advantage when you use the mouse is that you can actually get outside of the image area. Now once we have that, I will start in one of the corners. So let's say I'll start just around here. I'll click once, I'll go with the line straight out of the image zone, click second time, go down, and click again. And again, as you can notice, I'm basically doing the follow-up or trace up for this window. Once I got to the other side, you see the last dot, the first dot that I actually put it is now the last dot, and once I go over with that cross, it glows. So once that happens, I will double click on it, and you can see that my line actually became dotted. That being done, Control C to copy, or you can also use the edit, and here you have copy, and you can see the shortcut Control C, and then immediately I'll press Control V, and that's paste. You'll notice that the software will create for you an automatic layer here. You'll just need to press on the plus sign on the bottom right hand side, and now we have just this window. Now this is perfect because now this layer we can actually create a transparency to it. We'll go into that in a second, but before we do that, we need to remove the window from here. So going on our new layer, right click on it, and you'll find here alpha to selection, and that will select exactly what you had before. Click on the first one on the bottom that says now tutorial 2 movement JPEG, and hit delete on your keyboard. What happens is now you'll see this chessboard thing, and that's actually a transparency. Once we click on the upper eye, you'll be able to see that the window is back in. So we'll click on pasted layer, double click on the name of it, and we'll call it window left, and we'll hit enter. That will just give us an idea of what we're looking at. And then here you have opacity. Just double click on the 100, and I will recommend 65%. And you can see now that you can see that chessboard, however, it's in a shade of blue that resembles the window. Now we'll repeat this operation for the window on the right hand side. So before we do anything, we'll go to select none, or you can hit Shift Control A, and that will do the same thing. And we'll click again on tutorial 2 movement layer. That's the first layer on the bottom, the original image. We'll increase the size again, and with our lasso tool we'll do exactly as we did before. You can do this to any image that you encounter that actually has windows. Keep in mind, if you can see through the window different buildings, once you do this, those buildings will become transparent as well, so you'll need to take a few more extra steps. If you want to learn more about Gimp, it's very easy. A good friend of mine has a lot of tutorial. Is Nick Logo. I will leave a link for his channel as well. I do not have any cross promotion with him or something like that. However, I did learn a lot from him, and I love to promote people that actually help me learn stuff, as I hope you will also help me promote my channel if you learn something new. So we repeated the same thing. We'll click Control C, and I'll hit delete automatically because I know what I'm doing now. We're basically repeating the same thing. Once I delete that, I will press Control V, and a new layer will be created. You can hit the plus here on the right hand side, and that will transform into a layer. And the last thing I need to do is turn it to 65%, transparency, and I have the second window transparent as well. Now the last window that we need to take care of is the one in the middle. The reason I left it for last is because it's a little bit more complicated with this one. The reason it's more complicated is because in the middle of the window we have those two handles that need to be removed and pasted separately, otherwise they will become also semi-transparent. So we'll do this in a few steps. We'll first take the whole window out, then we'll take them separately out, and then we'll take the middles out. So let's take first the whole window out. That will be very easy. We'll just put a lasso tool here in the corner, move one click, 2 clicks, a few clicks to make this corner rounded. There are multiple ways to select and unselect those items. However, I'm not going to do a tutorial on that now. We're concentrating basically just on how to quickly remove those backgrounds windows in order to be able to obtain the result that we want for our Toonly video. This will help you a lot, especially when you want to realize a more vivid animation that resembles reality better. And that's very important in my opinion. So Control C, Control V. And we have this one. Now I'll close these eyes here that you see. All they do, they just let me see one layer or another. I prefer to work only with the layers that I need to see and not with others. Now, excuse me, in this new layer, I'll increase the size of it. Don't worry about the pixelation. You'll not be able to see that in your video anyway. So what I do now, I'll actually go around those two handles very quickly. Even though I'm getting outside of the image, doesn't matter. It's transparency area, so nothing will get selected there. The important thing is our two handles. So once I went around them, try to keep the lines as straight as possible. Don't worry too much about it. Practice it. We'll Control, copy, and then we'll delete, and then Control V. Now this is a new layer here, and as you can see, we have just the two handles. The problem is we still can see the window in between the two handles. So in this new layer, I'm going to just create those triangles. So that's one. Control V, delete, Control V. So now it's on its own layer. Coming back to the first one, we'll do the same thing to this one. This is just to create a more realistic look. Otherwise, you'll have a blue spot in the middle of your screen, well, where the handles are, and the movement will not be seen there properly. Control copy, delete, Control V. So now that we have all those, we need to arrange them a little bit. First of all, we'll take the first one here, the one with the handles, and we'll move it down a little bit. You just click on the layer and move it as you need it. We'll call this one handles. The handles should keep their original opacity, so they need to be 100%. I'll just turn my other layers on, so I'll click on all the eyes. Yeah. So before I turn on the whole train, I want to go to, so this one it's handles, this one it's a triangle, sorry, this is a triangle. So handle, mid handle right, and this one should be left, yeah. Mid handle left. It's not important to name them. However, it's easier, especially if you'll work with multiple items, it will be much easier. Now those two, we'll put them one on top of each other. Right click and you have here merge down. That will merge the two layers together. So now if you look, I have both of the triangles. So this will be now middle of handles. So now we have just one. However, this one, we know it needs to be transparent. So I'll change this to 65%. You can play around with the opacity. It will give you a different look depending on that opacity. Now, this one also needs to be 65% because this is the main window. So now you can see that all this is all good. So middle of handles, right click and merge down. Once you merge those two down, you'll have this window. Once we click on the past layer, you also have the handles. You'll notice that the handles are actually at full opacity. They are not semi-transparent. The last thing we need is the whole thing. So if you look, I forgot to delete the original window in the main picture. So I'll go on it. I'll go and paste. Here it's paste layer 1. It's actually the middle section. I'll right click on it and I'll click alpha to selection. That will select exactly what I need from the main image. So I'll click on the main image and click delete. And you can see that you have exactly what you need to be able to have the transparency. Once we have all this, all we need to do is file, export as. Now keep in mind, a JPEG will not save you transparency, so you have to save it as PNG. Thank God, despite the fact that we have a lot of limitation into Toonly, PNG is not one of them, so you'll be able to import this. We'll select PNG and we'll call it tutorial to move moment. This is not moment, this is movement. I'll call it movement. So let's change that to movement. Actually, a better name will be transparent windows. Yeah, transparent windows, that's what it is. And I'll save it in a location that's easy for me to find. I have my computer quite well organized, not as organized as I would like it, but it's okay. So we'll save that in tutorials Toonly. We'll create a new folder and that will be tutorial number 5. Once you hit export, make sure that you save the gamma. So click this option here, save gamma. And that's about it. The rest doesn't really matter. So export. Once you exported it, we now know that we have this train. We'll close the program. If you'll go to your location, wherever you saved it, I'll be able to find it now. Here it is. We have it here. If you'll open it, you'll not be able to see any difference. However, take a look at this. Let's continue. First of all, I'm going to select a different background this time. Let's choose, as I showed you in the initial video, I actually choose something that permitted me to see as much as possible out of the sky and have as little buildings as possible that will block the sky. I'm trying just to find it again. This one with the seaside is not a good one. However, the sea one, it's very good. So we'll put the sea one here. Yeah, we have a little bit of clouds in there and so on. That will help us later on. And we'll go to objects. Keep in mind, you cannot make a background move. Go to objects, upload new object. Go to the location wherever you saved your image. And upload that image. Save and upload. That will take just a few seconds. Once you have it, if you name it easy to find, is this one in our case, you'll see that it's exactly the size of your screen. Now, if you look at this like this, you'll say, well, there is no difference. Let's see if there is any difference. First of all, we'll enlarge the scene for about 10 seconds for the first time. And we'll go to characters. You remember the first character, I'll take an object, it's easier. I use this Amazon sign. So you remember the first time when we tried to actually move it forward or backwards, it didn't do anything. Take a look at this. Now it's actually in the back of those windows. You can see it through the windows, and that's the key of this. Let me clear this up in order for us to do what we need to do. Once we have this, now we need a moving image to help us. Now what I have these moving buildings. This is actually not a moving buildings, it's another background that I found. And the background, you'll find it in here. It's city scene, city silhouette is this one. So what I did the exact same thing. You know what? Actually, I'll show you quickly. So we'll input this in here. Let me remove this. So we have this silhouette. Yeah. We'll shorten this to 1 second, export it, change, silhouette, save, continue. So we need those buildings to be able to move them. You can actually use the image as is. However, because of the difference in color, I found it that it can be a little bit weird. Show in folder. Right click on it, open with photos. Again, edit and create, save photos. This will actually keep us one still of the photo. Now, do not remove that, the lower part of it. I think my computer had a crash here. Keep in mind I'm running a lot of programs now in order to record this. So edit and create, save photos. That's it. Save a photo. It just did it for us. Here it is. And silhouette moment. That's perfect. I think it's in the same place. No, let me put it in the same place. Here it is, silhouette moment. Close this one. We'll take this, right click on it, open with Gimp. So this will be very similar to the previous one. We have now this big image. What I want to do is just remove the upper part. In order to do that, I'll just enlarge it, hold Control and roll my mouse wheel. Move it to the side, and I'll just start somewhere where I can see very well in the image, and I'll go outside of the image, lower the size of it, go all the way around till I get to the point where I can enter the image, and I'll go around the contour of each and every one of those buildings. I'll do this quite fast for you. Depending how intricate this whole thing is, it could be easier, it could be harder. Now you might consider taking this first column on the right hand side out completely, because that will help you a little bit when you make composition. Don't worry to be straight on the line. It's nice to have straight lines because buildings are straight, are not crooked. Well, except the Pisa Tower in Italy. Fortunately, not many of us can go now and see that. Well, it is what it is. Miss traveling, I'm sure you all do. It's nice to stay at home sometimes as well. So I'll move quickly through this and I'll get back right to you. As you can see, I'm getting here to the end of this. I have just a few more clicks to do. Now, I do recommend seeing all our videos on all our tutorials on a PC, not on your phone. It's nice to see what's about on the phone. However, the best you'll get when you're looking at a PC. Now, the way I selected this, if I'll shrink in the image, you'll notice that the upper side of the image is selected. All I'll do is hit delete and Control Shift A to deselect everything. Now notice I left the street there. I will use that street to align my image, and that's very important later. File, export as, and this time we'll call it silhouette city. And we'll change the type of the file. Don't forget to change the type of file, otherwise you'll not know what's going on, why your background is not transparent, and so on, to PNG. Export. Again, make sure that you have the save gamma. Gamma, it's basically the transparency of an image. It's the fourth channel or the fifth channel, depending on what you're using. Everything I'm doing in Gimp, you can actually do in Photoshop. I'm not a big expert in Photoshop. I lost touch with Photoshop back when Photoshop was 2.0. I believe now Photoshop is somewhere around 7. It's a lot of money, and I prefer to use something that's open source and gives me a lot of options. Now we're basically finished with Gimp for today, so shut this one down. I don't need to save those because I have the original files. The last thing I need to do is import into objects again. All the images we're importing them into objects in Toonly. I'll import that one with the silhouette city without the background, and I'll open that and save and upload. Now we're basically ready to start building up our movie. So the first thing I want to do again is find an image that will suit my needs, a background that will be in the background of the background. So basically we have two backgrounds, one that's offered by Toonly itself. I think I found the one that I used in my video. Yes, is this one, City Office, I believe it is. Yes, City Office. This will be sufficient, and you'll see why. I'll just go to objects for a second. Let's put train. Should appear in the search. Fingers crossed. I know that Toonly has some problems. Here it is, train transparent windows. So if you look, once I put this on, you barely can see any of the items that are behind. So I'm happy with this particular background for my video. Put this on. And now I need the silhouette. I think I'll find it faster like this. So here it is, Silhouette City. Bring that one on. I'll leave it in the front for the moment, and you'll see why in a second. First of all, I'm going to increase the duration of my video to 12 seconds. That's how long I want my whole video to be. Of course, you can make it much longer than that, but we'll use 12 seconds. Excuse me. Then I'm going to take the train, and for the movement, remove it completely. I just want to work with the background. So the silhouette, I'm going to make it 3 seconds. Okay. And at the beginning, it will be where you see it in the middle of the screen like this. So I'll hit this button and click on the image. Then I'll click on the end button, take the image. You'll have in the middle, you have a small line. You can see it appear and disappear now. Keep that in your eyesight, and I will move the whole thing all the way to the left, up to the point that I barely can see it. I just need to see it, but not really. So like this, it's sufficient. Now what I'm going to do is take another moving, same Silhouette City, bring that one forward. Now this one This is the end position. Yeah. And I want it for 3 seconds as well. That's the end position here. And now we're going to the forward position. And that will be all the way. Again, keep an eye on that line here. Now we'll take the 2 and I'm going to bring it as close as possible. So now I know that this is not sufficient. Let's see. We'll play, oops, first thing first, let's remove the bounce. Forgot about that. So instant and instant. If you don't know how to do that, once you bring an image to Toonly, just right click on the line of that image and you'll get these object settings. In effect and out effect, just click instant and instant. That will make that bounce go away. I dislike that bounce totally. However, some people love it. So you can notice here that I have a little bit of a difference between them. So that's it. So I adjusted both of them one on top of each other. However, there is a movement in between them. So you see this one, it's a little bit longer, so it moves slower. They need to be the exact same size. The 2 need to be the exact same size. Now, once I put both of them together, you can see they give me this permanent movement of the buildings and they disappear. So what I'm going to do is take the first one, bring it all the way to the beginning, second one all the way to the beginning. Now, why do we need 2 of them? The reason is that movement is created during time. So we need the 2 to coordinate. However, in order to make the 12 seconds, we'll need to duplicate those 2 quite a few times. So how we do that? Click on the first one, hit Control, hit on the second one, and you can see both of them. Now hit Control, hit Copy, and then Control and V, and you get the other 2. Now all I need to do is make sure that I align those with the previous 2. You can also do that by just putting your play button in the right position. I was just lazy this time. Now you can see there is a small gap here. That can be fixed by bringing the 2 a little bit forward. Let's see how they look. So as we get that permanent cursive movement, and you can see that happens now. Now, of course, we'll repeat this as many times as needed. So again, this time I'll just keep it here. Yeah, but you can still see both of them. Click the first one, Control, click the second one, Control Copy, Control V, they'll go straight on the right position. Now you'll notice that we have double things here, and the reason for that is that at some point the 2 images are actually lapping on each other. So I need to move them a little bit to the left. Oh, here you go. Perfect again. And one more time, we'll repeat the same process. Here, Control V. And we'll shorten the video a little bit. Or we can actually make one more. Why not? So you see, here you can see the buildings. The next one you can't. That's the point where I click Control V and I insert them. The video will adjust itself automatically. Now let's see how this looks. We'll go to the beginning of the scene. You just need to be a continued movement of those buildings. So what you actually see in the video is not connected to the train moving. It's actually the background moving. And that's what you need to understand. Those are certain cinematics that can be used. And this one should go through the end, stick to end. Safe. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go all the way to the beginning of our video. If you have difficulties and you just started with Toonly, very soon we're going to release a new video that will actually cover everything that's to be done with how to operate Toonly, basics of Toonly. It's quite important to actually know those. So now we'll take our transparent train that we created. We'll put it at the beginning. We'll just adjust the image to be perfectly fit in. And all we need to do is take it and take it all the way to the end of the video. Once that's done, again, you notice that popping effect, bouncing effect. I'll remove that. Once that's done, now we have this illusion of a train in movement. Let's say you want the train to stop for a second or something like that. It's quite easy to do that by just in between those. Let's say we want the train to stop at around here, and we'll take the silhouette, just the silhouette, wherever that is now. Here it is. Put it on. Don't worry, that's in the front. That's okay. And we'll move it backwards. Yeah. As long as I want it to stay still. Take a look at this. So like that. And it comes, it comes, it comes, it comes. Now we have bounce effect. Always kills me. So just increase this a little bit for a few seconds, 3 seconds actually. So wherever I put it, let's say I want a 3 seconds train stop. I'll take this one and remove it, and I'll take this one and remove it, and now it stays still, and then it starts moving again. So you can play with those kind of things. Wherever you insert the station, you need to remove the 2 lapping things. Repeat this as many times as you need, and you can do it with many other things. Of course, now it's time for you to add characters and make them walk around and do whatever you want them to do. Let's put a character here that sits down. We'll have a tutorial very soon that will cover all the characters and how to operate the characters. Idle, no idle, we'll make him sitting. Here it is. No bounce. Try to avoid the bounce effect as much as you can. It's not one of the best. You can see I'm playing around here with trimmings at the beginning, at the end. It's actually quite nice that they inserted these features. We are waiting for customization of characters as well. Hopefully one day we'll have those. Otherwise, you'll find a tutorial that we made a while back, and you'll be able to see how we found an ingenious way, or what we think it's an ingenious way to actually do that. So here you go. This is a very short video on how things can be done, and I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. We'll have more and more tutorials coming out. We'll try to come back to normal and bring as much as possible to the community and make you proud of us. Don't forget to export your video. You know how to do that. If you don't, please see our basic training in Toonly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming and watching with us. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please leave a comment below with your suggestion for other tutorials or what you want to see. If you have any feedback, it's welcome. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.